Hello, this is Joseph Gillette Sr. with Venture Capital Cross. This is our new format in our new production studio. We're going to be doing regular podcasts on YouTube and on different podcast platforms about venture capital, trying to bring a little bit of the fun back into the fund. And today we're going to talk about a couple news items that are significant for markets that happened in the last week. And we're also going to talk a little bit about some new features on our website and some interesting things going on. So first, let's dig into the news. The biggest one is OpenAI raising $6.5 billion at $150 billion pre, according to Bloomberg. That's a lot of money, and that's a high valuation. But the interesting thing is it's actually not going to be a share price. They're raising the money, and it's going to be a convertible. And then all those investors in that round, it's going to be a convertible note. They're all going to convert to shares at another price. So they haven't created, because it's a new entity. So OpenAI was originally created as a non-profit or a not-for-profit. So they're going to, it's almost like a roll-up transaction. They're going to take this funding and open a for-profit entity. So it's going to be a new entity, but all the assets and everything are going to be put inside of it. So it's a pretty interesting deal. I don't think they'll have any problem with raising the $6.5 billion. They've already had $1 billion commitments reportedly from Thrive and other groups. And it's interesting because AI has been bubbly in the last 6 months, or investors at least have this perception that a lot of these big AI companies have raised a lot of money and the growth has been phenomenal for the stocks. But what have they actually churned out in terms of products? And of course, the bigger you get, the expectations are higher. Or in other words, going from 1 million to 10 million is a lot different than going from 1 billion to 10 billion and so on and so forth. Going from 150 billion to 1.5 trillion is different than when you're early stage. So there's a lot of questions, but it's definitely exciting that there's still a lot of interest in AI and a lot of newer early stage AI companies. We're working with a couple, an education platform that we're going to announce soon. It's very early stage, but super amazing technology. The other big news is the Fed cut rates. We're going to open a couple zero hedge articles. And the Fed, basically markets are manipulated. Most investors know that. The Fed manipulates markets in two ways. One is interest rates. The other is monetary policy, or M3. And then they have things like the reserve requirement that banks are required to keep on hand, which is currently zero, which was done during COVID. So there's a lot of ways that the Feds manipulate markets. And during COVID, the big problem was there was this shock that happened. And then the Fed created $18 trillion. And that was a good thing for markets. Real estate went up, stocks went up, people got money. There was this COVID dollars program thing going on. So it was overall, it was a good boost to the economy. But when you create more money, especially in that large a quantity, it's going to create inflation. So in other words, prices are not going up. It's the value of the dollar going down. And that's the important thing to understand about inflation. It's more like purchasing power than the sellers of products are not raising prices. They're paying more, so they're forced to raise prices because you have more dollars chasing the same or maybe a little bit bigger supply, but it's a simple supply and demand thing. You've got more dollars in the system, you're going to have inflation. So cutting rates at this moment, though, is a really critical thing. It's going to be a big boost for markets. So I see that it's going to be positive for all markets as the Fed keeps cutting rates. And also a White House that's going to, or I should say Washington and a DC environment that's going to deregulate and promote business rather than regulation and taxes is always a good thing for markets and for the economy. It's good for jobs, it's good for stock prices, it's good for revenues, it's good for pretty much everything across the board. So the next couple of years at least, hopefully the next 4 years, but at least the next couple of years should be good because the Fed's going to continue to cut rates, and that combined with a positive business sentiment means that we could see a lot of growth. Maybe it won't go back to what we had in 2021 with the market mania that we had, but it looks like things are picking up, and we're seeing positive signs from our agents as well. On our website, we've created new menus for users. When you're logged in, you now see a forms menu. You can submit a firm offer ticket, a firm bid ticket. And if you click on the forms page, you're also going to see an NCNDA, a transfer notice, and these are blank forms that you can fill out and use. And also we have a research forum, and on an as-needed basis, we're adding research for different companies, SpaceX, Perplexity, Scale AI, Anduril, Revolut, and so on. And this is an open forum, but it's for registered users only. So this is a private forum. It's free to register, but you do have to be logged in to see this. And we're going to be adding some more features, but for now, we have this. And one last thing, we have a deal book. So if you go to secondaries and then click deal book, we also have a blog here where you can learn. We have a learning section as well. So at the bottom, you can just click on any of these links, and it's going to go to the Learn page. And we've put some videos here from YouTube that, like, what are private markets, what is a firm order ticket, what are accredited investors, and things like that. So that's our first podcast. I'm thinking about the name The Cross. You can tell me what you think in the comments. We're going to try to do this regularly, just with updates about what's going on in private markets, some interesting developments, company news, things like XYZ company raised at this valuation, or some other market developments. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Have a great day.